A member of the WWE roster since 2002, Randy Orton is one of the longest tenured superstars in the company. Even though some fans might be tired of his tired character, there is one thing about him that gets everyone on their feet: the RKO. This finisher is a surefire crowd pleaser and an internet phenomenon. Here are the 10 most amazing RKOs out of nowhere. CM Punk gets punked. The Money in the Bank match was one of WrestleMania's highlights. It gave us crazy spot after crazy spot, and Randy Orton's RKO on CM Punk at WrestleMania 23 is just another example of that. Punk was climbing the ladder, and just when it seemed like he was going to secure the briefcase, Orton came out of nowhere and crash-landed from the top of the ladder with Punk's face taking the worst of it. Punk was down for the count, and while Orton didn't win the match, he did make it onto the highlight reel. RKOs are cool. Rumors have flown around over the past couple of years about Carlito returning to the WWE. Randy Orton was at the peak of his jerk powers and insulted the Puerto Rican superstar on-screen lady friend Trish Stratus. Carlito was out for revenge, but what he got instead was a face full of canvas as Randy Orton delivered a springboard attack for Mr. Cool and pinned him for the 1-2-3. God save the fool. Note to all of Randy Orton's opponents: do not under any circumstances attempt moves from the top rope. Wade Barrett didn't get the memo though, laying Orton on the table to set him up for the match-ending splash, but it was not meant to be. Orton slithered off the table and caught Barrett in midair for a lightning-fast RKO. Super Cena gets countered. In September 2010, Randy Orton and John Cena continued their eternal rivalry on a Raw Roulette edition of WWE's flagship program. Evenly matched throughout the whole contest, the match took a twist as Sheamus entered and attacked Cena. Once Cena stopped Sheamus, he picked Orton up, but Orton, ever the opportunist, reversed it into an RKO. Out of nowhere, a world champion is crowned. Heading into SummerSlam 2004, WWE made it clear that Randy Orton would become the youngest World Heavyweight Champion in history if he defeated Chris Benoit. After an initial attempt failed, it seemed like he was all over for the Legend Killer. Slick as a whistle though, Orton was able to spin out of it and to deliver an RKO to the rabid Wolverine. Randy Dell RKO. In something that looked like it could take place in the next superhero blockbuster, Del Rio jumped to the top rope and tried to deliver his patented top rope enziguri. Using his snake sense, Randy Orton dodged out of the way, and as Del Rio came down to the mat, he was helped on his journey by the way of an RKO. Spoiled by an RKO. At the 2013 edition of Money in the Bank, Van Dam was the crowd favorite in Philadelphia that night, but that couldn't save him from the Viper. Scrambling up the ladder to secure the briefcase, out of nowhere, Orton appeared in the ring, swung Van Dam's foot off the ladder, and delivered an RKO. Van Dam rolled out of the ring, and Orton secured the briefcase. The RKO goes Hollywood on the Phenom. By far the biggest challenge of his young career came in the form of The Undertaker in WrestleMania 21. As Undertaker hoisted Orton up to the sky with the hand around his throat, the Legend Killer spun out of the cold grip of the dead and planted Undertaker with an RKO. The Shooting Star RKO. Poor Evan Bourne. A supremely talented high flyer and such an innocent-looking guy. It's a shame that he will forever be remembered as the guy who had his face destroyed by one of the best RKOs ever. Orton reacted at the very last second to grab a hold of Bourne's neck and bring his face crashing to the mat for an RKO. Seth Rollins buys into an RKO. In his first WrestleMania flying solo, Rollins faced Randy Orton and put on one hell of a show. After hitting one curb stomp earlier in the contest, Rollins set up Orton for a second one. The Architect would be outplanned by Orton, who was just playing possum, and as soon as Rollins got his boot on Orton's neck, the Viper popped up, throwing Rollins sky